Welcome back. A global effort to reduce child labor has met with some success in the last decade. The number of children working has fallen by almost a third, but much work still remains, especially in Latin America. CCTV's Stephen Gibbs reports now from the eastern Brazilian city of Maceio.
It's Tuesday morning and Dr. José Gomes is taking us to see something that the government of Brazil wants to stop.
We are going to a street market because possibly we are going to find evidence of child labor.
This seaside city and state is notorious for child labor. As in many parts of Brazil, average wages here are exceptionally low. It's easy to find people to work for very little, and children work for nearly nothing. At the market, José goes ahead to see if he can find any underage laborers. Within minutes, he does. When José finds someone he suspects of working illegally, he takes a note of their details. The idea is that their parents are informed. But the aunt of this young girl saw no problem with the fact that her niece was working.
If she's not working, she would just be in the streets.
The fact that child labor is still prevalent here does highlight one of the contradictions of Brazil. This is a country with a strong economy, but a society which is still struggling to give up some of its habits of centuries past. To see one effect that child labor is having on this country, we went to this school on the outskirts of Maceio. 1,200 children are registered to study here, but every day around 400, a third, fail to show up. So few children attend every day that part of the school, which once had classrooms, now lies abandoned. The headmistress says a solution to this needs to be found for the sake of her country. But what about those parents that insist that work is good for children?
We have noticed this for many years. Children stop coming to school so they can work with their parents in the street, selling water, ice cream, kebabs. Here in the state of Alagoas, it's considered normal.
How do you change attitudes in this spectacular, unequal country? Brazil has lifted more than 40 million people out of poverty in the last decade, but sometimes it seems as if the progress has stalled. Near the lake that borders Maceio, there's a clear reminder that for millions of Brazilian children, homework still means this. The region is famous for its shellfish. Processing it is a family business, usually involving the entire family. To help reduce both child labor and truancy, the Brazilian government has set up a scheme whereby families are given cash if their children attend school. But the problem is that school hours are so brief here that plenty of children, even if they do go to school, still work far longer than they study. Back in the city, we meet a young woman who feels her future was almost stolen from her. Alessandra is 33 now and studying to be a nurse. At the age of 10, she and her sister were destitute, so she was given to another family to work, unpaid, as a maid.
I started helping this woman who was called Nalda at about that age, 10 years old. I started cleaning the house, doing the washing up, cleaning the bathroom. I never had a chance to play. The normal life of a child was something I didn't have.
How many children are working as maids behind the walls of Brazil's middle-class homes? The truth is, no one knows. But when we visited this social club for the city's elderly residents, we came across several people who were happy to admit that they had kept child laborers in their houses. People like Fatima.
We brought up a child, and she went to school. She was never a maid. She worked, but more like a helper, because a child doesn't know how to cook or organize a house. But she was very helpful.
The problem is that some people here, including Fatima, feel that what others call child labor can also be seen as a form of social service. But the woman who experienced it all from the other side sees things very differently.
You're stealing the childhood of the child. The time she is in your house doing things for you, you are stealing from her.
The issue of child labor is just one of the many challenges Brazil faces as it launches itself on the world stage. Another reminder that this developing country is still struggling to rid itself of its past. Stephen Gibbs, CCTV.